In this video, we will see how to invest in MINTOS from scratch, step by step, how to set up our auto investment strategy and the different options we have to invest in MINTOS in a very passive way, where we will be able to receive interest monthly without doing almost anything. So stay until the end of this video because I'm going to tell you all the details to make the most of your investments in MINTOS. Before we begin, I would like to invite you to the Telegram community where you can share experiences and opinions with other investors. I would also like to invite you to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss more interesting videos about investments. Now let's go for it. Before seeing how to invest in MINTOS, let's do a brief summary about the platform for all those who are not familiar with it yet. MINTOS was founded in the year 2014 and since 2015 it offers us investment opportunities in loans. Back then, it was one of the few platforms offering this and it has gradually grown over the years. Nowadays, it is the largest loan investment platform in Europe. Right now, they have over 600,000 registered users and more than 700 million in managed assets. In 2021, they obtained the license and right now it is a regulated platform, which not only offers us the opportunity to invest in loans but also the opportunity to invest in other assets since 2023. Right now on MINTOS, we will be able to invest in loans, but we will also be able to do so in bonds, real estate assets, and we will also be able to invest and create our portfolio of ETFs. And we will also be able to invest in a deposit. Something that is important for us to know is that MINTOS is regulated and supervised by the Bank of Latvia. It is regulated as an investment intermediary, which is why it can offer us so many different assets. It adheres to European regulations and the Investor Compensation Scheme, which would cover investors up to a maximum of €20,000 in the event that the platform went bankrupt. In addition to this, complying with all the regulations, it is supervised by the Bank of Latvia and complies with all the regulations and directives of the European Union. Let's see how to invest now. To sign up, if you do it through the link I leave below in the description, you will get an extra bonus. If you sign up before October 31st, you'll get a bonus depending on the amount you invest. If you invest at least €1,500, you'll get a bonus of €20, and if you invest more, you might get a higher bonus. You have all the information if you register through the link I leave in the description, and you can invest in any of the assets they offer, except for Smart Cash. If you watch this video after October 31st, 2025, check below through the link. You will find the current bonus details, always registering through that link. To register, you will need to fill in all your personal information and verify your identity. Once you have registered and verified with an ID, you will need to fill out the suitability and appropriateness assessment. This is a knowledge test where they will also ask you for information about your personal financial situation. Once you have completed it, you will have several investment options available. Depending on your situation, not all options may be available. In some cases, some investors can only invest automatically but not manually. This test can be filled out again after some time. And it is mandatory to fill it out since it is one of the requirements, as MINTOS is a regulated platform. Once we have completed the entire registration, we will be able to add funds and we can do it in two different ways. Through manual bank transfer, we will have to go to our bank account and from there make a transfer, always making sure to include our investor number they provide us here in the reference. It's very important. If we want, we can also add funds with a bank card, but we need to be aware that a 2% fee will be applied. The advantage of the bank card is that it is faster, although transfers to MINTOS in my personal experience are very fast. At least when I make the transfer from Revolut, it takes only a few minutes to be directly in MINTOS. But it's possible that the first time, or if you do it from a different bank, it might take a few hours or it could even take days. And to invest, we would only have to go to Invest and create portfolio. Let's create a loan portfolio. We have several options to invest here. We can invest in core loans, we can invest in custom loans or manual loans. When we are going to invest in core loans, it is the simplest and will be available to everyone. Here we just have to enter the amount we want to invest and MINTOS will automatically invest for us. Once we have a core loans portfolio, this is how we are going to see it. Here we see I have a very small portfolio just to show you as an example since I invest in other more advanced portfolios with more configuration where I select and configure more parameters. This is how we would see this portfolio of core loans. We would see what we are investing in as it gets invested. It may take a few minutes to invest the entire amount we want, and even if we invest a larger amount, it could take a few days to be fully invested. The advantage of this wallet is that we will be able to withdraw the funds whenever we want. Simply, here in Withdraw Funds, we can decide how much we want to withdraw, and all the funds will be withdrawn in a few minutes. It may take a little longer depending on demand, and keep in mind that if we have any loan in our portfolio that is delayed, it will take longer, as it will not be sold until it is paid or until the buyback guarantee is executed. Core loans would be the quickest and simplest option, but we also have more advanced options where we can decide more on what we want to invest in. The first one is custom loans. For this, we will need to go to custom loans, and here we can select either the standard or the advanced option. The standard one is the simpler of these two choices, and here we will be able to configure a lot more. Here we will be able to decide if we want to invest in the primary market or in the secondary market. If we wanted to invest in both, we would have to create two different strategies, one for each. Here we are going to select the primary market and we can give it any name we want. Let's give it a name, for example, like 10% over 24 months primary market, because that way later I can create other investment portfolios, and with this name it will be easier to identify. Next, I determine the investment goal I want. Let's put here, for example, 10,000 euros, and we will also decide how much we want to invest in each series of notes. Each series of notes we are investing in on Mintos includes different loans. Mintos being a regulated platform means we are not directly investing in loans right now, but we are investing in financial instruments called notes, which include different loans with very similar characteristics. And here we will be able to decide that the minimum we can invest in each note is 50 euros, and we will set a higher amount. I will set it, for example, 100 euros. Each of these notes has different loans, so I am already diversifying quite a bit, even if you invest in just one. Below, I will be able to define the Mintos risk score. Mintos risk score is the risk rating given to loan originators, with a higher risk being a score of 1 and a lower risk being a score of 10. I like to invest in originators that have a risk score of at least a 7. But if we wanted to invest with a higher return, perhaps we would have to lower this minimum to 5 or at least 6. I'm going to leave it at 7. Here I could select what type of loans. In type of loans, we have many different types of loans. I'm going to invest in all of them, and we could also select if I want to invest in all countries or only in some. I can also select a box that indicates excluding lending entities that do not pay interest for late payments. This means if a payment is delayed up to 60 days, which is when the buyback obligation would come into effect. All loans, all obligations in which we are going to invest in Mintos have a buyback obligation. This means that if the borrower does not pay on time, if they are more than 60 days late, the loan originator would have to buy back the loan from us. So that means a loan would be delayed at most by 60 days. And here we can decide if we want to exclude those that do not accrue interest during those delayed payments. Next, we will outline the characteristics of the loans we want to invest in. I am going to invest in loans that have an interest rate of at least 10%. This could even be lower, and I will leave the maximum interest rate as it is, because of course I am interested in investing with the highest possible return. And regarding the remaining period, we will be able to specify in months the term we want to invest in. I am going to invest from 0 months, which can be loans for several days, and I am going to limit it here to invest for 2 years, 24 months. And here on the right side, it is going to tell me right now that there are few loans available, suggesting to try broadening the filters. He tells me that there are only 5 out of 26 lending entities available with that type of loan. He also tells me that there are only 5 countries, as there are only 5 loan originators, and currently there are only 3 types of loans out of the 12 types of loans available. This varies, and surely the parameter that is limiting this diversification is this one here. Surely if I lower it to 5.6%, for example, it will allow me a broader diversification. And if I also lower it here to a percentage, to an interest rate of 8.7%, I will also have many more investment opportunities. Also, if I extend the term, I will have more investment opportunities. We can keep adjusting these parameters until we get the diversification that interests us the most. In my case, right now, I am going to adjust it a bit. I will keep investing in loan originators with a risk score of 7, but I will change here. I will set the interest rate at 9% and with remaining terms a bit longer than a year at 28 months. This way, I will have more investment opportunities, and I will just have to click on Activate Portfolio and the portfolio would already be created. Once the portfolio is created, we will see all our portfolios here and we can change the priority of each one of them. However, depending on what portfolios we have, the ones that are Mintos portfolios will always have priority over the custom ones. And among the custom ones, the most basic portfolios, the standardized one, which is the one we just created, will have priority over the portfolios we create from the advanced mode. Let's see right now what this advanced mode consists of, where we can indeed select many more parameters, and it is, as we used to see previously, the auto invest strategy of Mintos. Here we will also be able to choose whether we want to invest in the primary or secondary market, but here we will also be able to choose the currency in which we want to invest. And we will be able to select and deselect the loan originators that we want, something we couldn't do in the standardized portfolio. So here we will be able to select and deselect each of these originators, and we could create a strategy, for example, to invest in a single originator. Further down, we will have the same parameters in a slightly different way, as we saw earlier, but the same parameters where we can select the interest type, the remaining period. We should give the strategy a name and also the investment objective of the strategy, how much money we want to invest in this portfolio, and we will also indicate how much we want to invest at a minimum each note and at a maximum. And here we can also indicate what type of diversification we want, dynamic, which means it will be adjusted as it invests so that we always have a homogeneous diversification. In other words, where it doesn't invest a lot in some originators and very little in others. We can also select the personalized option, where we'll need to specify how much we want to invest as a percentage in each of the loan originators we plan to invest in. Lastly, we can deselect diversification and it will invest as investment opportunities become available that meet our parameters. And here we can also see how many results matching what we have selected currently exist. Right now, there are 1,317 notes with these characteristics. Here, we're not going to see how many loan originators and in how many countries we will be diversifying. The same, we would just have to click Save and Activate, and that would be it. It would start investing as soon as there are investment opportunities. In this case, since there are investment opportunities, it would start buying them automatically. To see our investments, we would just have to go to Portfolio, Loans, and that's how we would see our dashboard, where we would see the value of our portfolio and also the profitability we are obtaining month by month. Further down, we can also see information about our investments, such as the loans that are up to date with payments and those that are also delayed. We will also look at the average loan terms and also the average interest rate. Below, we can see our diversification score. Since I am investing only in loan originators that have a risk scoring of 7, I have a low diversification score because I am not investing in many loan originators. Also, we will be able to see that I am investing in many more personal loans than short-term or commercial loans. Diversification by countries, where I currently have 11 different countries, and also diversification by lenders. Automated portfolios is where we can see the portfolios that we have configured. We will first look at the Mintos portfolios and then we will look at Mintos Custom, the one we have created as standardized and advanced. And if we want to modify it, for example, here the standardized portfolio that I just created, I had named it 10% at 24 months primary. But if you remember, I set it to 9% and 28 months. If I wanted to change it, I would have to go here to Edit Portfolio, and here I could change any of the parameters. In this case, I am only going to change the name of the portfolio, and once I change what I want to change, Activate Portfolio. At any moment, I can stop any of these portfolios by clicking on Stop Investing. And now we know how to invest, how to set up our auto-invest strategy on Mintos. But we can also invest in ETFs. Investing in ETFs is very simple, and here we just have to decide how much we want to invest. And the moment the market is active, that amount will be invested. What we are going to invest in is a portfolio of exchange-traded funds. It is something similar to an automated investment advisor. In addition to exchange-traded funds, we also have bonds available. For that, I refer you to a special video I have made about bonds and how to invest in the bonds from Mintos. And we can also invest in real estate assets and in smart cash. Smart cash is a deposit, a monetary fund managed by BlackRock, which will offer us an interest of up to 2% right now. If we go to our transactions page, we will be able to see the account status and we will be able to see all the transactions and the statement of all the operations that have been carried out. Here we can also apply some filters to see things that interest us, for example, interest paid or taxes that have been withheld. MINTOS, being a regulated platform that has to comply with all regulations, withholds 5% of all our earnings at source if we are residents of the European Union. This will be reflected here, and we will also be able to download at the end of the year, in reports, the tax report for the previous year, where it will indicate the withholdings that have already been applied directly in MINTOS for us to then include in the income tax return. And if we want to withdraw money, part of our investments or the total investment, we will need to have the money available here in cash. For that, we will have to stop our auto investment strategies, which we can stop here at the 3 dots in Stop Investing and wait to have money available here. To withdraw money, we will go to our cash in our wallet up here and withdraw money. And here we will have to select the bank account. We will have to withdraw money to a bank account from which we have previously deposited money, and this account must always be in our name. We will indicate the amount we want to withdraw, and it will be available in our bank account. Normally, they are available in 1 or 2 business days at most. Something we should also keep in mind when investing in MINTOS is that there are some small fees. They do not usually charge us commissions for investing in most assets, but using the self-investment strategies has some fees. If we use the core loans portfolios, the simplest of all, the one where we simply decide how much we want to invest, they will charge us 0.39% annually. As I said, it's a very low percentage, very minimal. If we invest with the custom loans portfolios, the ones I have customized, the ones I have created with all these parameters, they will charge me 0.29% annually. It is a percentage of the amount I have invested in those portfolios. Investing in MINTOS Smart Cash, the deposit, the monetary fund, has a cost of 0.19% annually of the invested amount, and selling investments in the secondary market also has a cost of 0.85% for the sale. But of course, if we wanted to avoid all these fees, we could also invest manually. To do this, we would have to go to Invest, Create Portfolio and explore opportunities in manual loans. And here I can select different filters and invest in the loans that I want and desire, but doing it manually. I don't usually invest this way, as it would require a lot of time and I might have money uninvested. The interesting thing about investing automatically is that our money will be reinvested automatically, and we will always have the money invested without having to manage it ourselves. So, in summary, MINTOS is a very easy-to-use platform where we can also invest in different assets from the same place: loans, in ETFs, in bonds, in real estate assets, and also in a money market fund. With the advantage, moreover, that they offer us different possibilities to create our auto-investment strategy as we want, configuring more or less all the parameters and deciding more how we want our investments to be. If you now want to start investing in MINTOS, the campaign they currently have for new investors, if you sign up through the link I leave below in the description, it is up to 500 euros. You will have to register and invest before October 31st, 2025, invest at least 1,500 euros and you will get a bonus of 20 euros. If you invest a larger amount, you will get a higher bonus up to 500 euros in bonus. If you watch this video after October 31st, below in the link that you will also find in the description, in the same link, you will see the updated promotion they currently have. And now that you know more about MINTOS, tell me in the comments below. Are you going to start investing in MINTOS? Are you already doing it? Also, if you have any doubts or questions, leave them in the comments below because you know that I respond to all your comments. Or if you prefer, I also invite you to join the Telegram community where you can share experiences and opinions with other investors. Before you go, I would like to ask you for a like, thumbs up, which makes me happy and helps the channel grow. And I would like to invite you to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss more interesting videos about investments. See you very soon.